Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamsin Entertainment. Today I'm joined by my friend Mike and Austin. We're going to be talking Legos. Mike, we're going to start with you. You have some of the history of Legos.
That was a very 12th grade history project lead in.
Yes.
I'm super happy that I, arrived today. So Lego, this fundamental toy is actually really cool and has a lot of roots, seated in world history. The toy was created in 1932, or at least the company that would become Lego was created in 1932 when the founder purchased a woodworking shop, started to make toys for children. Proceeded to add things to his product line moving forward. And then World War II came around. And after World War II, synthetic materials like plastic became much, much more common. So they put in their first patent for these injection molded, snap together bricks. And turned out that they were huge, a big success. So after a while, starting in the 60s, they eliminated the other toys from their toy lines. No more wooden toys, no more other building block sets. And from 60 to 69, they developed just interlocking brick toys. Following after that, the series exploded. It was cultural phenomenon.
How'd you get your start in Lego?
My dad was super into Lego. Anything that was a building kit, anything with a brick or a block or a nut or a bolt. So I had Legos, Connects, Erector set, Lincoln Logs. I'm pretty sure he just handed me 2x4s and nothing to secure them together with one day, and was just make a thing, bro. And I was just that's weird. I'm 8. Why are you calling me bro? That's not colloquial. But the love truly came from him. My older sister as well. In the early 90s, there really wasn't such thing as the girl Legos. Legos were marketed towards boys mostly. Blue packaging, fantasy sets and things like that. My older sister had one of the first movable trains that had a motor in it, and she would build that and play with it with my dad when we were growing up. So, it was always a toy. It was always an activity in my home.
Austin, where'd you get your start?
Almost similar. My dad had his own sets of Legos from when he was a child, and that's about 50 years ago. So I played with those for the longest time, and eventually they bought me this big red tub with the Lego studs on the top, and that was my set. That was my first set, and then ever since from there, it's been mostly Star Wars and a few gas station, maybe a space set. It was random, but it was mostly sci-fi. I really couldn't help but dive into that stuff.
I got a late start into Legos. So my brother, he grew up with Legos, and I don't know, I kind of liked watching him build the sets, but I never got into it for whatever reason. Then one day, shopping, I saw that there was a miniature Millennium Falcon that comes with a Han Solo figure. It was $10. I was like, you know what? What the hell? I'll buy this. And it just kind of went from there in the collection I have now. And I only want to build bigger ones. I mean, I know you and I, Austin, worked on the Batmobile, which was awesome. But I mentioned in another podcast, I really would like to get the International Space Station because I like to complete more of the set I have over there. For people watching, I have pictures from Austin and Mike and myself, and so we can showcase them on the video aspect. If you are listening to this podcast, I suggest you go to YouTube and check it out and see what collections we got.
I have a Lego question, because this is something that sort of weighs on my mind as a Lego builder. Do you prefer to create things yourself with Lego, no guidebook, or do you prefer to take a set, build it, and make it a display piece?
I prefer going by the instructions personally because I have a very analytical mind. I prefer to look at something and copy it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
However, those who have those creative minds tend to go off book.
I'm kind of a mix, mostly out of necessity, because the times when I do brick films for my review videos, I have to build something. So I for Dark Tower, for instance, I made up my own version of the Dark Tower and other stuff like that. So, I mean, I think you told me once that you had a friend that made like a fighter jet
Yeah,
out of random parts.
like I'm pretty sure this kid just like dove into a box and came out with a fighter jet. Like there were no destructions, there was nothing. Like he just could see that vision, and you see that a lot with like the master builders that they just understand this toy and this building material so much different.
I find that Lego follows a set of rules. Just like in Second Life, there's a certain way to build. Each option in there, it has its purpose. So in a way, this is just theory, but from what I can see, these Lego masters, these creation people, they're using each piece for a particular job. So I feel like that's where they're getting it, is like they've learned how the pieces work in conjunction with each other, that they can build anything in their mind and then make it happen in front of them.
I think you're right. I support that, and it's wild that you'll see parts that's like, I build a kit and it's a knight riding a horse, and that little bitty sword piece is a sword, but a master builder has that sword and it's the blades on a lawnmower. And I never would have thought about that kind of stuff. I like my current Lego set of choice is the architecture series, where there are scale-ish models of buildings. Those usually get built. They go up as a display piece for me, and then I store them away for safety. But I've built the White House, Falling Water. My most recent one, which Steve will pop up on the screen, was the London. So it was the full like coast of the Thames with the Tower of London, Big Ben, and that John thing. Ferris wheel. Good coming through with the vocabulary words.
I was going through the Google yesterday, and I found that this guy made a full-blown tunic out of Legos, and it was very reminiscent of Iron Man's look. Except it was only so thin all the way around. Like you could see the shirt through the structure, but he could move. He could articulate, and it still stayed on him. It was amazing.
Well, that you reminded me of a kid that was he was born with only half his arm, and he made a Lego prosthetic that was functional.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Legos are basic building blocks. You can use them for pretty much anything if you put your mind to it.
They're like the DNA of creativity. I remember as a kid, just because Lego was a family event, my dad would subscribe us to the Lego magazine. And I remember, getting that magazine every month and seeing the things that people would build and like their ages. Like these kids were a few years younger than me, and they had scale replicas of the Titanic. And I was just like, I made a tree house with some pieces. Like I think I always felt a little inferior in the Lego world when it came to being creative outside of the box with the toy.
I have some pictures of that. My daughter just got a Lego magazine, and on the back end, it shows some of the more extremist creations, the really good stuff that none of us can fathom. I'll share that with you so that you can put it at the end of the video.
All right.
Wonderful.
So what sets would you be interested in getting, Mike?
What sets would I be interested in getting? There are several car sets, but they're the larger like Technic sets where you build a it's not a functional, but you will like build a piston motor, and then that sets in the piece, and then as you move the car forward, the piston motor turns.
That's very similar to the Batmobile. Like you can physically turn the front wheels with the steering wheel.
Like that stuff intrigues me. Like pushing the technical aspect,
being authentic to the real thing.
Oh, definitely.
Making it a proper model.
And you're taking these little plastic pieces and scaling it down almost exactly as well. Like I'm afraid that like mini Michael Keaton's gonna run in here and jump in that Batmobile and drive it away.
Why the Millennium Falcon's what I want.
Oh yes, I've always wanted that kit as well. If it wasn't just so expensive,
right?
And massive.
It's like the size of this table.
Oh, I believe it.
I've seen one like time lapse. I didn't watch all of it because it was still a long video, even though time lapse. But the instruction manual for that Millennium Falcon, which came in like this gigantic box, was
And the box is 4 boxes.
yes, it was a tome of an instruction manual. It actually had a ring binder to it instead of the regular glue binder spine that they'd have. Is I don't know if I'd ever be that ambitious. The biggest probably Star Wars uh, ship I want to build, aside from the Mandalorian ship, is Slave One, which I need to get because it looks like it might be going out. Because I went on the Lego website a couple months ago, and it says that the original one is rare to find, and I haven't seen the updated model in the stores lately. So I think maybe the site might be the only place to get it.
eBay.
Or eBay. But then you're paying like twice or 3 times the amount because it's rare.
Have you ever been to any of the local Lego stores that specifically deal in Lego?
I wouldn't call King of Prussia local, but yes.
It's local enough when it comes to Lego. So many job applications going into those places.
That's where I got the mini Falcon. We were just perusing the Lego store, and I saw, like, I'm going to get this.
So, Steve, you had said that you started later in life with Lego. Was it the branded Lego that got you started? Star Wars, Harry Potter, Marvel, that kind of stuff?
Yes, my Legos are very franchise heavy.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I have some, like the only one that's not franchise is the space stuff that I have. Austin and I also worked on the lunar lander, and then I got another space set. I'd like to get more of that, but space. But I go to conventions and then I get custom Legos. So you'll see them in the pictures that I got. But I got Ninja Turtles with Shredder. I have a Freddie Mercury. I have a Kurt Cobain. A bunch of crazy ones. I have a Gundam. Crazy. I never thought I'd find a Link one, but I found a Link one.
Austin probably remembers these, the ones that are so fond of my memory. Do you remember the early 90s Lego sets where it came with this like giant injection molded like base that you would put things on, and it was like generic space adventure or generic Arctic adventure or generic. I loved those. And every time I go to a Lego store or like peruse Legos in a big box store, I kind of yearn for those days where it was a full play set with a weird generic space cannon. And I feel like with all the franchising, that a little bit of Lego's roots have kind of gone away, if that makes sense.
I don't know why their names escape me right now, but the 2 Lego sites or pages I follow on social media have had articles where I think they want to bring back some of the older models. Like, for instance, they want to bring back the Pirate Ship, which is one of the models my brother made. And that would be pretty cool to see the pirate ships come back, or the knights and stuff like that, or like the old school space ones.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're familiar with the Lego movie, the spaceship guy who was played by Charlie Day, he was one of the original space guys, like just a blue guy with a screen printed rocket ship on his shirt. Like that was your space. Classic. Yeah, that was your spaceman.
I actually have some of those in my my Legos storage.
Have you guys, either of you, I don't want to say participated in, but used any other like Lego medium, like the Lego video games, or have you ever played any of the Lego board games?
So I've played the Lego Marvel superhero game, the first one. Just bought the second one. I've played Star Wars, the complete edition, 1 through 6. And then I've also played 7, which I loved 7 a ton better than the rest of those games. They actually, the mechanics was right, just right. Mm-hmm. Indiana Jones. I own all of them. I own a lot of Lego games.
I love them. I love I have a buddy in college, and we got the first Star Wars collection, which was A New Hope through Jedi, and we beat that 100%. And then we got the Phantom Menace versus the High Ground, and we beat that 100%. And then we bought the complete collection and 100% of that one too. We played every game twice and still loved every minute of it.
I just 100%ed 7, and because of that, not only did I get you mentioned you have a miniature Millennium Falcon, I have a miniature Death Star and a miniature Starkiller base that you can fly around on the social areas.
That's awesome.
Tap people with.
That's pretty awesome.
I never got into the Lego video games. I just the sets and the movies. You know, even though Ninjago's like the weaker of the three. Have any of you seen the Ninjago movie?
That was go ahead.
Seen a bit of the series. I can appreciate where they're going with it.
I mean, it's a good movie. It's just not the strongest. It's the least strongest out of the Lego movies so far. With the second Lego movie being the least after that. So my favorite would be the Batman one, obviously Batman, and then the original Lego movie.
Okay, so the original and the Batman and the second Lego movie, I don't know about the second Lego movie, I haven't seen it. Those two that we just mentioned, Batman and Lego movie, were more not just for the kids, but for a grand audience. It covers a lot of ages. Ninjago, keep it for your kids. That's what that's meant for.
That's why, for me, it's like the weaker of the three, but I'm sure kids loved it.
The only reason I know anything about the Ninjago line was because my nephews loved it so much. Like, they have all the mechs and the whatevers and the dragon things and right over my head. It's sort of like a Bionicle. The early
Bionicles. I got Bionicles behind my head right now.
Yeah, that was a set that I never got into. Were the Bionicles, but it had like cool lore, cool story.
Yes.
Like, I wasn't expecting that out of my building block toys.
How many stories do you know? In order to add to it, they keep going back in time. And for whatever reason, as they keep going back in time, they keep getting cooler.
That actually reminds me. I actually bought a Ninjago set because I thought I was going to do a review of that. But I ended up using the dragon for D&D, but I've botched the dragon because I thought the piece was missing. So I ended up cutting one of the pieces to try and make it work, and it didn't work, and I still have yet to replace that one piece that I need.
Savage instructions.
Yeah. Austin was constantly correcting me when we were building the lunar lander and the Batmobile.
I seem to have an awareness higher than most.
Here's another good, like, Lego-y question. How do you build? So an example is, when I build, I will open every bag, unless it's one of the kits where the bags are labeled and you're only supposed to work with one bag at a time. And I'll sort the pieces. I'll spend a good 45 minutes sorting the pieces and then move forward with construction. So it's a methodology that was developed by Industrial Lights and Magic called knolling.
Knolling?
Knolling, yeah, named after the guy that developed the process. It's called knolling.
I'm exactly like that. Although I don't take 45 minutes to do it.
Yeah, I'm fairly similar. I mean, sometimes I'll separate out the color, but sometimes I'll just like push off to the side and then get to grab the pieces that I need. But when we built both sets, we definitely did our best to separate out likes together because it just made it easier. And Austin even takes it one step further by putting likes, clicking them together so they stay in one spot instead of getting all pushed all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin also taught me how to use the Lego tool because for the longest time, I would just do it old school and use my teeth. And it was like, dude, stop.
They didn't look like that way back when. They didn't have as many various multi-tools on it so long ago.
Well, and they had to make it that way because way back when, if you try to bite your Legos, you just crack your molar. Like, that just was how everything worked.
And now you got that edge on the back end of the multi-tool to help pry it open.
Mm-hmm. Probably like the best $4 I ever spent.
But now they just come with kits.
Yeah, well, I'm special.
I feel the same way. I have one here in the house somewhere, but I don't know where. Those things are rare.
Oh, now they're extremely common. I should probably take a picture of this.
They're extremely common.
My mom, for I think Christmas, got me off-brand Lego sets. Austin's seen it. Teeny tiny block pieces, but it comes with its own multi-tool. That's just a tiny version of the Lego.
The whole thing's a tiny version of everything.
I still need to finish that kit.
Yeah, I'm not helping you anymore with that.
I think you fixed it. Well, I mean, the instructions on that one are like old school Legos. It's basically, here are the pieces that you need for this section. Here are the pieces you need. Now Lego breaks it down way more, so you can follow the instructions better. What's the word? It's
micromanaging.
No, it's not micromanaging. It's just easier. I can't think of the exact word, but it's easier to follow the instructions than old school Lego instructions were.
I'm totally lost. Like I stopped paying attention because as soon as you said like alternate like Lego fake sets, all I could think about was how much I hated Mega Blocks growing up. The fake dollar store. Like I know that they're like the high end Johns that you can get now, and they got a couple franchise. They got Halo and Ninja Turtles and whatever. But it's like
I won't even buy it. I love Halo and I can't buy it.
Yeah, those are hella fake. They integrate. No, they don't. Get out of here. Get out of here, weird guy.
Actually, when I worked at another retailer in the receiving section, there was a Mega Bloks set going out. It was an Elite. It was like really small, and I kept the Elite. I have no idea where the Elite went, but it actually did stick to Lego pieces.
Really?
Yes, I miss that Elite.
Yeah, but Mega Bloks are whack.
Yeah, but they're, I don't know. So think of it this way:
the same.
if the Lego characters are chibi, the Mega Bloks characters are more anatomically correct.
I don't care.
I think weird.
Yeah.
No. I mean, this is what you expect. Like, if you were to make a Lego set, you would want them more anatomically correct. Whereas I'm quite happy with what I got.
The more anatomically correct Lego seems to get, the more stick figure it gets, because you see the big like action, air quote, action figures ones where you can build like Boba Fett and Darth Vader, or they look like robotic than they do anything else. I don't understand the appeal behind those and the bobblehead type ones.
I don't either. I think they created Bionicles and they tried to take that idea onto other things, and it didn't work out well.
Mm-hmm. Man, I got 2 kits just like chilling in the box at home, and now all I'm gonna do is build when I go home.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm like so hyped right now. This is like I'm not gonna be able to do anything for the rest of the week.
I'm just gonna get myself one.
I'm just gonna be like one. I saw one right before Christmas, and it was a T-Rex, Triceratops, and Pterodactyl skeleton.
I want that.
I have it.
I don't know. You can put rated R on this.
It's only like $30, and you get like a really nice set for a good price too.
Yeah, and it's 3 models.
Yes,
for the cost of 1, and it's just chilling, and I want to build it.
I need to get that now.
Maybe we'll do a Lego YouTube Jamsinentertainment podcast build off.
Oh God, I'll lose.
No, we'll all be winners. You know why? Because we're playing with Lego.
I guess the show's over.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground in a short period of time.
We love Lego.
Yes, we do.
That's what 3 passionate gentlemen discuss.
Thank you, Austin and Mike, for joining me on this episode. Thank you all for watching and listening. You can find Jamsin Entertainment on YouTube and Facebook. You can find Jamsin Podcast on all your podcast platforms.
Fans, we just had a really long cut. And I really hope that Steve includes this, at least this portion, in the video moving forward. Because we had no idea what we were going to talk about. We kind of flew by the seat of our pants today. This is the first time I've ever spoken to Austin. And he's a chill dude. He's super dope. I love his luscious locks.
Thank you.
I wish I could do that, but if I did that, I would kind of look like a skinned rat. So it's just a thing that I have to be concerned with about my life. But thank you for watching the Jamsin podcast. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. If you consider subscribing, share it with a friend, and live your imagination.